Okay, let's talk about that neck stretch that feels like magic, because it is fantastic, but it's not actually magic. It's just some very simple, very cool anatomy behind why it works so good, and I want to talk you through it. So first of all, I want you to introduce you to a muscle called the trapezius muscle. Now, even if you don't know anything about this muscle, you do. You have definitely encountered this muscle before. It runs from the base of the skull down to your shoulder and then down to kind of your mid-back region in this kite shape. And when you are stressed, this muscle tightens up and you will feel it in maybe headaches or tenderness at the base of your skull. You might feel that along the side of your neck gets really tight and knotted. You might feel like just around your shoulder blade, around about here, you get knots there. So you will definitely have felt this lovely muscle. And the trapezius is there to help with shoulder movement, shoulder stability, neck support, neck movement, and just general postury things. Now, when we get stressed, when this muscle tightens up, the other thing that happens is that the shoulders also start to come up towards the ears. Mine do it when I'm just talking, like naturally my shoulders become like little earrings pretty fast. It's like if I'm really into something, I kind of lose my neck a little bit and my shoulders come up and I start wearing my shoulders like earrings, and I have to like keep reminding myself to relax the shoulders down. It's why you've probably heard yoga teachers being like, let your shoulders come away from your ears. This is all about relaxing this upper trapezius muscle up here. And when the shoulders come towards the ears, it shortens the neck muscles as well, which means that you find it more difficult to turn your head from side to side. The other thing that the upper trapezius muscle does is it also brings your neck into extension and brings your chin up. So you kind of end up in this position, and that makes it really difficult to turn your head. So when you relax the trapezius, your head comes back into position, your shoulders come down, and you get a little bit more movement in your head from side to side. So the magic neck stretch, what we're doing is we're using gentle, repetitive movement to relax and lengthen the trapezius and the surrounding muscles. So it's not forceful at all. We're not pushing. It's just about giving your body that chance to let go of any stress that it's holding onto. And as the muscles release, the shoulders should naturally drop, just giving a little bit more space for the neck. And then, hey presto, your head can turn naturally more from side to side. So you're still stretching the neck, but it's like you're turning the jaw, not the lid. So if you think your shoulders are your jaw, your head's your lid, you're stretching you're twisting from the jaw, not the lid. But here's the thing. It makes me a little bit nervous when people treat this neck stretch as a fix-all, because that's just not how bodies work. This particular stretch just happens to combine a few really smart elements, so it feels especially effective. But that doesn't mean that when we're doing other movements, the other movements aren't working as well. And it doesn't mean that you're fixed, because yes, you might have relaxed the shoulders down, but actually we still need to work on the structural issues. We still need to strengthen the muscles around, because that might be what's causing tightness in the trapezius as well. So it's not, we can't just do that stretch and then be like, I'm fixed. It's a lovely way to relax the neck, but we also still have to do our strengthening work. We need to do our mobility work around it as well. And some results are more subtle and the more internal, and they just take longer to show up. So this stretch is a great example of how simple movements can have a huge impact, and they can, but not every stretch is going to feel this miraculous, and that's okay, because we're not chasing drama in the body. We're not chasing like big things all the time. We're wanting to work with our bodies patiently. So the other thing I want us to look at here, so it's not just the trapezius muscle, I want to introduce something called the vagus nerve. So let me just see if I can do this quickly. It usually takes a couple of goes. Let's see how quickly I can do this. Let's see if I can find the vagus nerve. Let's see. Yes! Straight away. Managed to press the vagus nerve straight away. Well done me. So I'll fade the other ones. And isn't the nervous system really weird to look at? I always think we look a bit like jellyfish. Now let me introduce you to something called the vagus nerve. Now the vagus nerve is a really important nerve that runs from our brain down our neck, and it is in charge of our parasympathetic nervous system. It's a key part in our parasympathetic nervous system. So if you don't know much about your nervous system is split into two parts. We have our parasympathetic and we have our sympathetic nervous system. I'm not going to go into too much detail in this video because the video is already quite long, but I will make another video about nervous systems because I just think they're really, really fascinating. But the parasympathetic nervous system is sometimes known as the rest and digest. So we have our flight or fight and we have our rest and digest, which basically means our relaxed state. And when we turn our eyes to the side and when we turn our neck, we are stimulating our vagus nerve, which can cause a relaxation response. So sometimes if you turn your eyes to the side, that might make you yawn, or you might feel like your saliva's getting switched on a little bit. That's all signs that your parasympathetic nervous system is being kicked in. Now, when we're stressed and our sympathetic nervous system has taken over, or is in charge, I don't think that's quite the right language around it, but when we're in our sympathetic nervous system, when it's in the driving seat, when we're stressed, basically, our bodies tighten up to protect us. So I'm sure you'll have experienced this. Maybe when you are stressed, maybe you've got an exam coming up and you feel like, oh, why is my body all tight? Because your body, when it thinks there's danger, tightens up to protect you from any impact that might happen. And then when you're relaxed, your body softens, you've got a lot more movement. We tend to think of our mobility and our flexibility as only coming from our muscles and our joints, but actually our nervous system plays a huge role. An example of this in your life might be, do you know, if you go dancing when you're drunk and suddenly you can do the limbo when you couldn't do it before, that's a really good example of your nervous system dictating how much you can move your body and your joints. And remember, your nervous system's job is to protect you, and doing big movements can cause injury. So your body will limit your range of motion when it thinks that you're in danger, basically. So this can happen if you've ever injured yourself. So if you have a hip injury, your body might go, okay, you've got a hip injury, we're going to limit the range of movement in that joint. It's not actually a structural issue, it's that your nervous system has tightened everything up around it to stabilize it. And this is why when we're working on mobility, when we're working on flexibility, relaxation is so important. We can use relaxation as a way to get space and movement in the body without having to rely on because you can stretch your body as much as you want to. You can stretch your muscles as much as you want, but if your body doesn't feel safe to let you have that movement, it's going to restrict it. You're not going to be able to have, your body's just going to say, no, you can't move that way. So when we're doing that first bit of the magic neck stretch, when we turn our eyes and then we turn our head, it's a bit of a cheat, because that first movement stimulates your vagus nerve, so that the second time you do it, you do have a little bit more range of movement as well. So it's those two things combined, so the trapezius stretch and the vagus nerve stimulation combined, that makes it so oh my goodness, that I didn't think that was going to work, but it did. Is it magic? No. It's anatomy, breath, and the nervous system letting go, and I think that is kind of magic. It's kind of miraculous, isn't it? But there is a quick note on this as well, which is that if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. I always get loads of comments of people being like, it didn't work for me, what's wrong with my neck? There's nothing wrong with your neck. It's just that everybody is different and different things work for different people. So don't worry about that. It might not work every time as well. So next time that your neck feels tight, remember, it's not about doing more. It's about calming down, tuning in, and just letting your body relax into that movement. So it's not magic, but it's kind of brilliant. And I do hope that you're going to stick around for some more, maybe not quite as dramatic, but just as effective movement patterns.